You've also got the article analysis that was posted Friday. I moved that due date back to December 4th. So that is going to be, that's 2 weeks from Friday. That's the Friday we get back from fall break. So not only that, we've got our projects due on December 4th as well. All the details have been posted about that on the assignments tab on Canvas. So please make sure to start that. That includes a research sheet with a bunch of questions. And then all you have to do is just transfer that to like a brochure or a poster. Just copy that to a brochure or poster once you filled out the research sheet. So nothing too complicated there. That's 80 points though. So you have 2.5 weeks to get those 2 things done. The article, the video analysis that's due this Friday. But keep in mind, we'll also have a notebook quiz posted Friday and that unit quiz. I'm almost done with it. I got like 1 or 2 more questions I want to add to that. I'm going to try and post that after school today. So we'll get that situated, and I'll keep pushing back the due date for that because I haven't posted it yet. But let's start on our Go Blues, guys. Again, be ready to answer some questions for some participation or additional things. Number 1, what is the difference between erosion and deposition? So erosion versus deposition, if you don't recall, that's in the top of page 10 for deposition. Think of the word deposit. Number 2, sand dunes are created by blank weathering. So is it chemical or mechanical? And blank erosion. And then number 3, beaches are created by what erosion? So remember, we've got water, wind, gravity, glacial, right? So what erosions make which, right? So take a moment. I'm going to give you guys about, if you want to get some participation credit, which I used to add to your, I add that to some points on assignments. If you guys want a chance at that, you can go ahead and answer those questions in the chat. And I may have some additional, I got some people in the chat who want to help me out here. Oh, where'd my chat go? So go ahead and answer that if you'd like, guys, before we move on and I discuss it. I'm clicking on the chat, but I can't, for whatever reason, it doesn't seem to pop up. Okay. Well, I'm just glad this is working. So far, it seems like you guys can hear me, right? Let me go back to Zoom. Here's a chat. Okay. Okay. So I have Joseph going to Jackson. Okay. Guys, again, if you have attendance stuff, make sure to direct message me. That way I can kind of respond to it, and I don't have to have it pop up during a lesson, right? Okay. So thank you for the heads up, Joseph. Thank you for the heads up, though, Joseph. There will be a YouTube video lesson tomorrow, and then Thursday we'll be on Zoom again. All right, so it looks like I don't have any other feedback on the chat regarding the question, so we're going to move on here, guys. The difference between erosion, again, make sure you guys have these for notebook checks. Erosion is going to be the movement of material, right? Okay, so erosion, I'm just moving stuff over. It's when the water or whatever erodes the rock and all the material, whereas deposition, hence the word deposit, is going to be the drop-off of that material. So like a river picks up a bunch of rock, okay, and as it's eroded, but then it reaches the end of the river, it gets into the ocean, that's when it gets dropped off, right? So that's going to be for depositions, deposit. Like when you deposit money in a bank, deposition. Question number 2, okay, we're going to have sand dunes are going to be created by wind erosion, and that is an example of mechanical weathering. Mechanical weathering. Again, wind erosion, as the wind blows around, you can kind of see that sand dune down here, right? With the little cart and the, looks like the snowboarder or the sand surfer. Pretty cool there. And then our last one, guys, what creates beaches? Hopefully we kind of get the idea with that, because beaches are next to what? They're next to water erosion. So that's going to be water. So I'll give you guys a second if you want a picture of that or you wanted to jot those down. It's not a ton of writing there. So if you wanted to jot those down, you can take a second for that. But again, guys, for sand dunes, that was on page 10 of deposition. Again, these are different types of deposit erosion. Wind erosion makes sand dunes. Water erosion makes beaches. Okay? I think we're all good. So we're going to take pictures. If you guys need more time, we're going to move on, keep things going at a speedy process. Our table of contents, I'm not sure if it's brand new or not, but again, make sure we're through pages 14. Again, this is just stuff for the future. 13 and 14 are going to be ocean topography. Okay. We're probably going to try and get to, by the end of this week, mineral identification. So we're going to get to mineral identification by the end of this week. We're going to start that, I think, actually tomorrow. So we'll get to those. I'll kind of get us going on that. And then ocean topography, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get to that before the end of the week. We'll just see. All right, let's go to move on, guys, to our video question. Again, take a picture of this. It'll be on our video later, but and I'll show you guys should watch all this video on your own because we did just learn about beaches, right, for deposition on page 10. So our first question here, guys, make sure I got 14 people. Okay, everyone's still here. Good, good. How does erosion impact beaches and what is being done about it? So again, the idea is that are our beaches always staying the same? If we just left our beaches alone, would they just stay all the same? Would they be always the same? The answer is no, okay? Those waves constantly crashing, okay, are gonna have an impact. Okay, they're gonna change those beaches. We're gonna find that out in a little bit, okay? And then, well, what do we as humans, because we love our beaches, right? Our beaches are gonna be a big draw in tourism, a big important thing for money in Florida. What is being done to prevent this erosion from happening? Let's go. I'm going to show you the first minute or so of this video clip. Just write that one question down. You guys probably saw a glimpse of that, but we'll just check this out anyway. Let's see here. So beach erosion, what's the deal with it, and what are we doing? What are we humans doing about it?
They're narrow with steep. Looks nice, right? Unfortunately, many beaches don't look this way. They're narrow with steep cliffs and waves breaking close to the property line. This is a beach that's experiencing erosion. In America, about 80 to 90% of sandy coastlines have this problem. So the government spends billions to expand some of the most rapidly eroding beaches.
You guys can see here at night, or when beaches are closed off, what are they doing? They got tractors, they got all these construction equipment, they're rebuilding the beaches, right? Why is that?
In an effort to defend the coast. But this effort, while effective in the short term, can actually hurt beaches in the long run. It's because every shoreline on the planet is subject to erosion. Beach erosion occurs when waves and currents remove sand from the shoreline. The loss of sand makes the beach narrower and lowers its elevation. This erosion becomes a problem when it reaches structures built by humans along the coast, especially for beaches that generate tourism. The visitors enjoy the sandy coasts, while the city and towns nearby enjoy the revenue gained. But the driving factor there is the beach. A place like Miami Beach wouldn't have the same draw if there weren't lots of sand. In fact, there was a time when it didn't look this way at all. In the 1970s...
Here we have Miami Beach in 1970, kind of a thin stretch of sand there, right? So there's Miami Beach right there. Look how thin that is. And let's see 10 years later in 1980 what humans did to it.
A seawall turned the beach in Miami into a narrow strip. But by the 80s, that beach had reemerged nice and wide.
So a lot more sand there. So watch the entirety of that and you will get the entirety of your answer. But we can see, guys, what is erosion doing to beaches? Well, the water, as you saw there, kind of scoops away and it takes away the sand. It pulls it back into the water there. So there's a process that we're using with boats and that construction equipment that keeps those beaches always wide and open with lots of sand, as opposed to narrow with no sand if we just left them alone. The water just keeps scraping away more and more at this coastline. Okay. Again, keep in mind, guys, I'm going to take attendance again at the end of class. So if you are signing in late, I will still get you for at least a tardy. So that's better than being totally absent, right? Okay. So that would be for that. Let's go do a quick question. I think I might do 2 questions today. We'll just see. But let's do a quick question. See what you guys know. Oh, yeah. 1 second. Let me go ahead and post this 1 second. All right. So the question is, guys, again, please answer in the chat the answer to this question. This is from our water erosion on page 8. This is on page 8. Blank form from the ceiling of a cave, while blank form from the ground of a cave. Is it A, stalagmites, stalactites, B, stalactites, stalagmites, C, stalactites, stalactites, or D, stalagmites, stalagmites? See what you guys answer. See what your answers. Go ahead and answer in the chat. A, B, C, or D. See what you got. See what you got. I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. Or give you guys maybe a little more than that. Give it your best answer. Just answer in the chat. A, B, C, or D. I'm going to congratulate those who get it right, give you some participation. I see a lot. Okay, I'm seeing my chat building up. That's good. I know you guys are with me listening. That's good. I got 15 students. I got 14 students, and I got 6 answers. So make sure we get all 14. So I got 8 people answering. Good, good, good. I still need 6 more people to answer. Unless there's another. Good, good. All right. I think I still need about 3 or 2 more people, 3 more people to answer that. Do your best, do your best. Let me just check the chat. Okay. I've got a lot of people saying, like I got mostly B's with some C's. Let's go ahead and check this out. So the correct answer, guys, wow, really good job. I'm pretty sure it's B as well. And it is B. Fantastic job. Really good. You guys did a great job. I got to personally shout out. Let's see here. Oh, is my chat glitching again? No. I got to shout out to, let's see, Lakia, Tiana, Yorkies, Brianna, Amira, Daniela, Evelyn. Congrats. Shout out to you guys for getting the right answer. Great job. Great job. Keep it up. You're going to do well in that quiz. I'm going to try and post later today because I think that will be on the quiz. So stalactites, the letter C is the ceiling. Okay, and stalagmites, letter G is for the ground. So the rockicles, those rock structures that look like icicles, rockicles, I said, right? That's what those are. That's stalactites at the top, stalagmites. Okay, so I got 15 minutes here. I'm going to try and get done in less than 10, hopefully. Let's go ahead and start. We'll go back to page, I think, 10. I just got like 3 quick topics to show you guys, and maybe one video, we talked about yesterday, and if you didn't get to it already, it's on the video I posted yesterday, guys. You just got to know sand dunes, okay? This was in our Go Blue today, right? So wind moves from one location to another, which is mechanical weathering or erosion. Let me just go ahead and I got to minimize this other screen because it's kind of getting in the way here. Okay. Yeah. So now we did sand dunes and we did beaches. That was in our Go Blue as well. Location where the shore meets the ocean. Collection of broken down rocks and fossils, water erosion because it's next to water. But let's discuss sandbars, barrier islands, and deltas, right? Deltas. So for sandbars, guys, again, it's a little different. It's like a strip, and make sure to write, guys, got to write these down. So if you guys saw the video from the other day, go ahead and find my sheet here that we had. Probably be quick for you guys. No worries. It's going to be quick. There we go. Okay. You guys remember the title of page 10 was deposition. And we had the definition of deposition with our examples. We went over sandbars yesterday and beaches. Today we're going to go over we went over sand dunes and beaches. Today we're going to go over sandbars, barrier islands, and deltas. I'm sorry if that's backwards on the screen. But so if you haven't done page 10 yet, just use the bottom half for these 3. Use the bottom half for these 3. So make sure you got sandbars there. Okay. So for sandbars, good. Okay, let me see if I can stand up. I'm tired of sitting down. So for sandbars, guys, again, it's basically a small strip of sand that's off the coast. And this is going to be created by mechanical weathering, obviously, but it's not water or wind, it's both. It's going to be both water and wind erosion that creates these. If you guys have ever been to Clearwater Beach, they kind of have these out. If you swim far out, you can kind of walk higher up from the water, but it doesn't go all the way up to the surface, right? So that is a sandbar. Again, key things here. It's a submerged, partially exposed sand built by waves and currents. This is going to be water and wind erosion from mechanical weathering. Let's move on to our second topic of the day, which are barrier islands. We don't need to know like the erosions with it, but what you do need to know is that it mainly protects the coastline, okay? Important for protecting the coastline, hence why it's called barrier island. So it's a large chunk of land that protects that marshy, maybe inland neighborhoods, coastal neighborhoods as well. So it's barrier island, long thin stretch of land parallel to the mainland. So if I was going too fast for you guys, again, take a picture of this, sandbars. I'll give you 5 seconds if you want to picture that. Again, this is going to be for the bottom of page 10. Don't be surprised if I have that on a notebook check. It could choose that, right? I like those main pages especially. And then barrier island, right? So it's just a large chunk of land that's off the coast. It's going to maybe protect from like storm surge, tsunamis, things like that could be occurring, right? Now the problem with these is sometimes people build hotels. So like if you guys ever go to Clearwater St. Pete Beach, it's like you drive to those beaches, you drive on those bridges, and then they go to the other side. That's the barrier island you guys are entering from those bridges, right? Let's do one last video today, guys. I just want you to write down on page 11, how do rivers form deltas? We gotta know what a delta is and how rivers form deltas, okay? How do rivers form deltas? Okay, so I'll give you a second if you want to picture that. Give you a moment. That's on page 11. How do rivers form deltas? How do rivers form deltas? I got tired of standing up. I got tired of sitting down, so I just wanted to, hopefully you guys can hear me just as good. If anyone has hearing issues with me standing up, let me know. I'm trying to be a little louder while I stand up. Hopefully it's not as cold out as it was this morning, I know. So I got my hoodie on, right? A little long sleeve. Okay, enough of me being random Mr. Campbell. Let's go ahead and check out how do rivers form. I'm just going to show a little bit of this video here. I'm going to post it later to Canvas when I have the video loaded to YouTube.
It's safer to be thrown out than to be trapped inside.
And again, guys, I can't control the
is a violation of human rights.
Advertising tickets like that. Car advertisement, Volvo. So let's go ahead and check that out.
The world is divided into two kinds of people, those with innie belly buttons and inward, but rivers land either post.
So rivers kind of have innies and outies. Sometimes they have openings that are like an innie, and sometimes they'll have an outie, which is going to be a delta, which you'll see here.
Out or bends inward. But rivers don't have umbilical cords, so why do they have innies and outies? Well, coasts are the front lines between two opposing forces, land and water. In order for the ocean to invade the land, sea level either has to come up, or the land has to sink down or be eroded away. And in order for the land to advance into the ocean, sea level either has to drop, or the land has to build or be lifted up. Obviously, if sea level drops and then rises back again, there's no net gain on either side. But things get more complicated when a river joins the battle. For example, during the last ice age, sea levels fell by over 120 meters, and rivers cut deeper and deeper valleys to reach the falling seas. Then, about 18,000 years ago, warming temperatures began to melt the ice, and the now rising seas flooded river valleys around the world, creating giant estuaries and giving us the innie-riddled coastlines we have today. But when the steady landward march of the seas finally, the key factor was the sediments that rivers drop as their current.
Basically, guys, what's happening is rivers, as they flow, carry more and more sediment, and they're going to pile up that sediment
slow at the entrance to the sea. Where the sediment supply was big enough and the ocean was calm enough, the dropped dirt piled up. Eventually,
and when that sediment piles up enough, it's going to form new land. See that? Okay, and that's the outie they were talking about. So basically, when rivers carry a ton of sediment and dump and drop off a ton of that sediment, okay, that's going to be how deltas are formed. So rivers dump enough sediment to form new land at the mouth of at the opening of the river into the ocean. That's how we get those deltas, and that's what a delta really is. That's what a delta really is, right? Give me 1 second. Make sure I can see myself here. Okay. All right. So that's what a delta. Let me check the chat here because we got to pause class here. Got 16. Okay. Got 16 students here. The chat I will check. I'm unable to open that real quick. So give me a moment when we finish class here in a minute. Okay. So then let's go to deltas again. Take a picture of that if you don't already have it. Rivers dump enough sediment to form new land. So what's a delta, guys? Last thing of the day. a location, okay, a location where sand is deposited at the opening of a river into a larger body of water. So we see here the river's flowing. Again, just so you guys know, the farther downstream you go in a river, the more dirty and the more sediment rich it is, the more stuff it collects in it. It could be dirt, sediment, it could be runoff from fertilizer, it could be even sewage sometimes, which is bad. We don't want that, right? That's nasty, right? We got to make sure our rivers are clean. So the farther upstream you go in a river, the cleaner it is. The farther downstream you go, the more dense with rock or mineral or other stuff it can have in it, right? So that's going to be deltas, guys. Make sure you wrote deltas down on page 10. Make sure you watch the YouTube video from yesterday to know what's going on. You'll have all of page 10 completed if you do that. I'm going to go ahead and just, I want to, you know what? Well, just because of time, I got 6 minutes left of this period. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and call this a day, guys. If I marked you for attendance already, you are free to sign out. If you came in late in the middle of the lesson, stay put. If you guys have questions, you can also stay put for a question conference. But otherwise, you guys are good to go. You're marked here. You got your materials. You got those pictures. I also post the video later today. So if you guys want to sign out, if you were marked here earlier, you can. If not, stay signed in. I'm going to go ahead and take attendance again. So take a moment. If you've already been marked here for attendance, you guys are good to go.